As you can see, got a little baldy, little hair. I might go completely bald. I don't know. I'm not. The funny thing is, I don't have a receding hairline or anything. I just like it short. I really like it short. And plus, I do think I have a head for a baldy, but you know, let's get on to what I have on my mind now. I think I'm enjoying more in this the more and more I do it because I can feel myself getting better at this. But the what I want to talk about today. Anybody remember the whole Dave Chappelle joke? How old is 15 really? Anybody? If anybody haven't seen it, I will probably leave a link in the description box. It's a very funny. It's a funny joke, and yet you learn from it at the same time. And basically, he had some examples about one white girl that she was like 15 or something like that. She was kidnapped and she didn't know how to get home and something like that. And then he also said there was a 9-year-old black girl that got kidnapped, chewed out the ropes, and basically was on her way home. In 45 minutes, called the cops. Crackheads got arrested. And like he had another one where he was like, they try out boys, 15 years, 15-year-old, the child boys, he got life. So with everything going on with rape culture and everything, and some things cannot be 100% prevented, but I always feel like we need to be as close to 100% as possible, and we need to the first thing we need to do is we need to look at laws. We need to get laws changed. It's sort of like rape culture and this rape culture and all that. Like for instance, when he was talking about how old is 15, really because it's like we sometimes, I don't want to say we give excuses, but I've always said this. I know 16-year-olds that are wise beyond their years. There are 16-year-olds, that have houses. Not houses, but they have, they was living on their own. They had jobs. They was doing things. My grandfather, when he was, and I know my grandfather back in the time, he dropped out of high school. He had a full-time job at around 13. Right now, at 16, you could operate a vehicle, and I don't want to bring back R. Kelly with this, but I know he was messing with these girls that was 16, 17. Aaliyah, she was like 15. And most people don't know this, but in some states, like Maryland, the age of consent is 16. And I think Chicago is 17, and maybe 16 and 17. Now, places like Cali, it's 18. But even when he was messing with 18-year-olds, everybody was looking at that, oh, she was young, 18, he don't know what he's doing. He was brainwashing. I think Sparkles was around that age, too. I don't know how old Sparkle was, and he tried to manipulate her, and it didn't work on Sparkle. Now, I'm not giving R. Kelly an excuse, but sometimes when it comes to things like this, it's like, we know this, we like everybody in the hood, and I'm not making an excuse for this. Everybody in the hood knows the 16-year-old thoughts that will literally just fuck with older dudes. Like they are attracted to older men, and they like that older men are attracted to them. Like they know it's wrong, but they do it anyway. But yet, when something bad happens, to them, will say, oh, she's 16, she didn't know what she was doing. Sometimes, and a lot of people say that's not an excuse. I'm like, look, some things are a two-way street. And I feel like I won't blame that person, but you got to be aware of your actions. Now, everybody's like, the thing with consent, everybody's like, you should teach kids to consent at a young age. And my response is, that's the first thing you teach your kid. When they ask for candy, you tell them, can I have some candy, please? Yes. And when they say yes, and you give them candy, it's like, when you hold the door open, or when your kids ask you, can I go outside, or can I play the game, or can I get something to eat? It's like they're always asking you stuff. The first thing, that's consent. You're learning consent whether you think you're learning it or not. So consent is usually the first thing next to learning your ABCs is learning your child. With that being said, uh, we do, and men we do this. Sometimes you kind of lie to. I think I will admit, when I was 13 and all that other stuff, I was playing grab ass with girls. Is it wrong? It is wrong, but at the same time, it's puberty. Like, I don't want it happening to my daughter, but I know it's going to happen. Now, do I not want it to happen? No, but it's going to happen. It's puberty. This is not a boys will be boys thing, but that's how men find out who they are. Now, when they do that, the first time I feel like you gotta teach them about consent. Don't be. I understand you have these urges. You gotta tell these kids. I understand you have these urges, but you can't do that. It's wrong. Because you don't want that happening to you or your sisters and all that other stuff. You know it's wrong. Don't be doing it. Now. I had to learn that the hard way as growing up. But that's like puberty. Just like that's me, learning my body and what I like and knowing if I like women or not. So that's just nature. As bad as it sounds like rape culture. It's like a lot of people call that rape culture. I said, no, that's just nature. It's like that's your body, responding to things if you like women or not. Now, whether it's rape culture, that's opinionated. Um, people could discuss that or not. But this thing people call rape culture, and y'all worried about protecting our girls and making sure like older dudes, creepy old dudes don't talk to. The first thing you got to do is change the law. The age of consent is funny. The age of consent has to be changed to 18. Just for that. If you want to protect these girls, and if you said they're, defenseless, to make them seem like defenseless, the girls and boys. Let me stop saying. Young girls and young boys. If you want to protect these people at the young age, change the age of consent to 18 in all 50 states. Because as long as the age of consent is 16, I know it's 14 in Alabama, these grown adults are going to get away with having sex with these young girls. And if these young girls consent and they was with it, they're going to get off. I've had this argument many of times with people because they think it means relationships. And I'm saying, no. It means like if you guys get into a sexual and she was with it, he can get off. And I believe that's how R. Kelly got away with a lot of his victims, because he knows the law. In order to break the law, you gotta know it. What else? What else? Change the age to 16. We gotta teach these. I feel like as parents, I'm not a parent, but I got a niece. I look after her. We have to kind of let them. We kind of let them walk, let them make mistakes, but watch them at the same time. I feel like if we do that, we get that balance of them learning freedom and us, learning that these kids are going to grow up. Also, now driving, that's another thing. I feel like if you can fully operate a vehicle without crashing, you can know that you want to have sex with a person or not. So that's where the age of consent thing. It starts with the laws. Now, some things, like I said, are not 100% preventable. If it was, it would already be a solution. So let me know what you guys think. This is your boy Eskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace. I hope I explained everything.